Hey, Mikel, just your thoughts after that one.
Well, extremely disappointing, obviously. It's a big punch on the face, and it's about how we react now.
What didn't quite work for you out there? Was it difficult to find a flow, and was that something that your team did, or did Bournemouth prevent it?
Well, I think credit to them for what they've done. It's a team that obviously hasn't lost for 11 games for a reason, because they do a lot of things right. And when we had, especially in the first half, a lot of opportunities when we break the press, we regain the ball to run, to have open spaces. We were far from efficient, and the first chance, I think, or the first opportunity that I have to attack the box is a deflection. We have a really bad defending action, and it costs us the goal. And that's obviously emotionally something that we have to deal with. We try to recover from there, try to push them, score the goal from the penalty in the second half. You expect a different game, but yeah, we did a lot of strange things today, I would say.
Is that a surprise to you? Like you just said, a couple of strange things and you weren't as efficient. Does that come as a surprise to you from what you see?
Because we've been very consistent. It can happen. This is football. Sometimes you have to give credit to the opposition as well for what they do, or the way they capitalize. I don't know how many shots they had, but the way they capitalize in our actions, our errors, and we were far from the level today.
How much is this hurting the boys in the dressing room right now?
A lot, and it has to hurt, and you have to take it on the chin, and there is no grey areas now. You stand up and go for the fight, or you are out, and that's it. That's what this level is going to require now.
And does it feel like this is the biggest week of your managerial career, and for these boys playing as well, with what's at stake?
It's a big week. It's a lot of at stake. We're still in a really good position in both competitions, but we need to do better, but certain.
Mikel, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Becky.
You can just see and feel the disappointment in Mikel Arteta, and understandably so. We saw him pre-match and he looked a little bit more relaxed. Now he knows how significant this result is, Aaron.
Yeah, he just said there, it feels like a punch to the face. You can see the frustration on him. He said they did a few strange things. Yeah, it wasn't a performance that we've been used to with Arsenal in terms of, just the intensity, wanting to try and, take the game by the scruff and show what they're all about. They're in a fantastic position, and they've got so much to look forward to with being top of the league, quarterfinals, Champions League. They've got all this. So, yeah, something just wasn't quite right today. And, yeah, you can say his nerves and things like that, but these are the positions that you want to be in. You want to be competing against the top, playing for these major trophies. So, yeah, it feels like a real big opportunity missed.
And then when he did get his opportunity, he saw that gap and he sped into it. And when you needed composure in front of goal, because they didn't get many opportunities in the second half, even though they played well throughout the game, they didn't really carve too many good opportunities out. But in that case there, he kept his head, kept a cool head, and played it into the back of the net. Really good finish by the young man.
So whilst we're praising Bournemouth, I guess the key question here is how damaging is this result for Arsenal in the title race, in your opinion, Aaron?
I think obviously we're all disappointed. All the fans will be extremely disappointed, players, staff, everyone. But we have to, take a step back from that and still remain positive. We're still in our hands. I mean, yeah, we're going to have to do it a difficult way in going to City and putting up a performance there and getting a result. But I think, maybe this is what we need. We need a bit of a reality check here in the last few weeks to be able to really test ourselves now next week and then go from there. Like Glenn said, though, City have to go to Chelsea tomorrow and get a result there. So
all Arsenal fans become Chelsea fans just for a day, eh?
In a roundabout way.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Well, look, the goal was great. We said it was. But in the build-up to it, we saw some really nervy moments from Arsenal, Glenn.
Yeah, a bit unlike them, in all honesty. Raya just sloppy in possession. I would say they're playing the ball out to a Bournemouth man. He gets the ball back. Just a flick of the right boot. Unlike them again, not in control of the game like we've seen on so many occasions. Here waiting right to the last moment, and listen, in the end it's a good piece of play, but a little bit nervy and just not what we're used to from Arsenal, and this eventually leads to the goal. It's a bit of a sloppy clearance. Bournemouth win a couple of second balls, and then this is actually a bad pass into the centre forward, but he does just enough to take the speed off the ball, which allows Alex Scott to burst through. We see there just a little bit of a wayward pass forward, probably a lack of a philosophy in some crazy way. We just see Zubimendi looking the wrong way, gets his body shape, watches the ball instead of the man that he's meant to be marking. Ben White, you could say, could drop in a little bit quick and be more aware of the situation, but that gap between them, they've been punished in between that right back and that centre back already in this game, bear in mind. And then when this ball is just laid into his path, once he steps onto it, opens that right and finishes with aplomb. Really, really good finishes. Gives the goalkeeper the eyes.
Wow. That's a good view of it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, really good view.
Do you think it meant more to him because he's a Spurs fan as well? He's well documented, by the way, and I don't really know what that means either. But
to be honest, Tim, I think that was probably the last thing in his mind is he wheeled away in front of the away fans. I think he'll have just been absolutely delighted that he's managed to get his team in front after such a long run of draws. Funnily enough, they'd have probably taken a draw today at the Emirates, but to get that off their back and start turning it into winning ways and obviously jump up. They're only 3 points off Chelsea now, so they're well in that European conversation. I think that's what they've been thinking about, not Spurs.
Not Spurs, all right, fine.
Saw out there today from Arsenal, or did you feel like that performance was coming?
No, I was surprised that they didn't find a solution, the way that Bournemouth tactically pressed Arsenal really high from the front. Goalkeeper obviously relied on the goalkeeper an awful lot. And that there just was the jewels, really. I mean, I was looking at their fullbacks. Truefair was just like a man possessed. And I wasn't seeing the same reaction from the Arsenal players.
Why not?
With absolutely no idea in terms of, I mean, obviously Bournemouth, kind of Arsenal played into their trap and then didn't find a solution. The substitutions came very early from the manager. I thought that was a real intention to change the game, but then they didn't find, Eze didn't seem his usual self, couldn't get Max Dalman on the ball. So as I say, it's one of those days where it just hasn't worked, but you can't, after that body of work now, you can't throw it all away. You know, they'll be in that dressing room, there'll be some big questions, there'll be an examination of what happened today. Of course, it's not all about the opponent. But I thought Bournemouth were magnificent in the way that they played there, that pace at the top of the team. And in the end, Arsenal have opened the Championship, the Premier League, right up now for Man City to be licking their lips.
But is the reason the alarm bells are ringing so loudly here that it's not just today? It's 3 games in the last 4, Owen, that Arsenal have been outplayed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think you're alluding to the cup final against City, who were brilliant. Southampton were absolutely fabulous in the FA Cup, deserved to win the game. They obviously beat Sporting, even though David Raya had a terrific game. And today they're outplayed. And you're right. I think that's probably the worrying trend that you've been outplayed in all of those games. But you'd have to take nothing away from Bournemouth. They were fabulous today. You know, they had such energy. They were good on the ball. They had a game plan, the way to play out. If Arsenal pressed them, they went long. Their pressing themselves was spectacular, and they were clinical when they got in front of goal. I think the worry for Mikel will be that, you know, Mark made a great point. They didn't find a solution to that press. And I think there was a little bit of pressure, a little bit of stress in the crowd. You could feel that Fletch and
Did
Lucy...
you see that transmitting to the players, to the manager?
Do you know what, Linz? It's normal. If you're going to be in a title race, and I was fortunate enough to be in a few, you know, there is pressure. But you know what? Pressure is a privilege. You've earned the right to be in this position, to go for a title race, to win a Premier League and a Champions League. I just thought maybe they were tired. They were a little bit too passive. Mark made a good point about the duels. You know, they were so aggressive in Bournemouth and getting after people. And I just thought the pressure and the press from Bournemouth put so much pressure on Arsenal, and they didn't cope.
And that's where the winning goal came from for Bournemouth. It came from it came from the Bournemouth press, which as Owen has already mentioned. It was brilliant from the very first whistle today, Martin.
Yes, but like it's little bits of detail, isn't it? Where you know, I mean, the press every time Arsenal got the ball, and the goalkeeper. Obviously, you know, we know how adapted he is, but he's playing it out, never going really long. And they just kept picking Arsenal off. And this is a fantastic move, really. And the way that he floats through midfield, I think this one here, look, when the ball's in the air there, you just wonder when it comes in there to Lewis Skelly, look, should he really try to win that? He doesn't get there. The centre-half suddenly out of the middle. Then there's a big opening and runs off the back of Supermendi. But the composure that he shows, let's give him some credit here, gets in front of goal. He was one of the world's best goalkeepers we're talking about before the game, and that's a wonderful finish from him there.
He played fabulous, Alex Scott. So did Christie in the heart of their midfield. We said before the game they got a presence here and they got speed at the top of the pitch. One thing I would say is on that goal, you know, we spoke about second balls and duels. They lost 3 second balls in one clip. Do you know what I mean? So and I always speak about second ball because I think they decide games. Look at this. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And that allows you, and then you play, then you got courage, then you get runners. Brilliant run from Alex Scott, little flick, okay? What a finish that is, by the way. And I just thought, if you compress like that, force mistakes, and then you win second balls, and then it builds confidence and it creates stress for the other team. But I just saw as the game plan for Bournemouth was executed spectacularly well.
They pressed incredibly well with real purpose. They passed the ball when necessary. They enjoyed the ball. And in the end, Arsenal,
they're going to do that, Bournemouth, that you know to expect that from them. So why was there not that adaptation there?
Well, that's the next step. That's where the time now needs to be spent on the training ground, because everybody is to blame if you're going to lose. You could say the players need to be more aroused than they were. They weren't really as physical in the duels. You could also say that tactically, the Arsenal kept on played into Bournemouth's hands, just continually trying to play the ball out. So that I'm sure, look, it's one of them occasions you reflect. They're going to have to make sure other teams will look at it and say, okay, if we press Arsenal in this manner, and they'll have to find a solution. We could have had Havertz maybe in the first half coming into little pockets to pick up the ball when it was being, sent long. And he's the manager now for Bournemouth. Full credit to him, because tactically they had too much for Arsenal
today. Hello, Antonio. Congratulations, first of all, today. Just sum up how pleased you were with your team's performance.
Yes, very pleased, obviously. I think very happy for the players. I think in this kind of big games, you have to rise to the occasion. I think we've shown personality, and we've enjoyed some moments also on the ball that is sometimes difficult against Arsenal, and we could finish the job, because we were coming from a lot of draws, and we always had this question mark, but today 3 points that are massive for us.
It's 12 games unbeaten now in the Premier League, which is a club record. What does that say about this group, about how resilient you are?
I think it's something to value. Past season, I think we did an amazing season. We did a run of 11 games. This season, it was a strange situation before this game, because you are coming from, I think, 4-5 draws in a row. So you are not fully enjoying it. It's like, okay, we still are there. We are difficult to beat, but I think we needed this game to put us in a better position in the standings also.
Can I just ask you about the press? Because you talk about not enjoying it. I don't think Arsenal enjoyed your press. I just thought the relentlessness of your guys' press to start the game, I think it really unsettled Arsenal. They couldn't play through the middle and then having to go longer. It was so impressive.
Yes, I think it's one of our strengths. Teams like Arsenal, United the other day, they give us chances to recover the ball. Sometimes you play against other teams that they go direct too early, and you cannot play this cat and mouse game. And against Arsenal, I think we've read good situations, and I think we were good.
Do you know what's remarkable? David Raya played the second most passes for Arsenal because they kept recycling the ball, and every time they went back to the keeper, you guys press. Everybody locked on. Is it a man-to-man press, or is it kind of a joint venture?
No, I think if you go man-to-man, they will go direct. It's a matter of cat and mouse. It's like, okay, we leave you a little bit, but then we will go, and then sometimes it works. Sometimes it's you want to keep also the +1 at the back. Sometimes with Marcos, we were taking a lot of risks because he was leaving his position, but we need it because they are so good that if you give them a lot of advantage, they will punish you.
Just you and Mikel both coming from San Sebastian, and were you able to sort of second guess him a little bit today? I was surprised that Arsenal didn't find a solution to your press. The amount of times they went back to the goalkeeper, were you surprised in some ways?
No, I think they are so good, and we were pressing well, but they were still sometimes finding ways to get through our press, and that's why they are big team.
That's
they are
his philosophy.
Confident, yes, and sometimes it's a matter of a duel, 1 against 1. The rebound goes for you, okay, it's a chance, but if you lose that rebound, it's a chance for them. So it was a high-risk, high-reward game, and in most of the situations, because I think my players have won a lot of duels, we were the ones not benefiting more.
For the Alex Scott goal, had you given some kind of message to him at the end of the game to get slightly higher, because his role seemed to change slightly?
I think Alex Scott is in a beautiful spot. I think has played for us as number 10, as number 8, today as number 6. He has added to the ability that he has on the ball a lot of defensive work, a lot of duel winning, and we know if we give him good options on the ball, space to carry the ball, arrivals, he will give us this. But I'm very happy because he's becoming a very, very complete player.
And it must have been a big disappointment for him to be left out of those March internationals. But you must be delighted with the way he's responded to that, because he just keeps pushing and giving Thomas Tuchel food for thought.
Yes, I think from his side he cannot do a lot more. You know, he's playing so well, but also I understand, you know, because in this country you have so many good players that sometimes to be at your very best level is not enough, because there is someone also performing